6.5 down, 5.5 down, 9 forward.
Moving episode 4 picks up where we left off with Bong Seok levitating as a stunned Hui Su watches on. She tries to get him something to grab onto, but there is nothing in close sight. She ends up jumping and grabbing his leg, and they fall down together. She then quickly gives Bong Seok his bag, but he keeps floating. For a few minutes, they alternate between floating and trying to stay on the ground. They leave the school grounds, and Ji-sung can't help but smile fondly at the two of them. Hui Su walks Bong Seok home after, since he is unable to control his power. Even though it is raining heavily, they manage to get home. Mi-hyun is surprised to see Bong Seok arrive with a female friend. It gets awkward for a couple of seconds as she processes this new piece of information. She quickly recovers and invites Hui Su to have dinner. She serves them a lot of food, and Hui Su forces herself to eat it all as a sign of courtesy. Bong Seok downs the food since he is used to eating big portions. Mi-hyun also serves them apples as dessert, and Hui Su commends her slicing skills. Meanwhile, our assassin Frank visits a salon and asks for a haircut. The salon owner is a lady and tries to tell him that they are closed. However, Frank insists on having his hair cut. Frank's Korean language skills are pitiful, so the salon owner agrees to provide him the service. As she washes his hair, Frank starts asking personal questions like the number of kids she has. The woman immediately realizes something is off and grabs her scissors. She sticks them in Frank's face, but he removes them and regenerates. An intense fight ensues, and the woman fights with all her might to save her life. Unfortunately, she is no match for Frank, who regenerates and heals no matter how many bullets she uses on him. Ultimately, she dies a painful death, but she calls him a second string. These words hit Frank because this is the second time someone has called him that. It also baffles Frank that all his targets fight so hard to protect their kids. Ju-won is on a call with Hui Su. She explains she will be late since she is having dinner at a friend's place. Ju-won is unable to ask more questions as he gets an order and hangs up the phone. He rushes to prepare the order and deliver it himself. Coincidentally, the customer is in the same building where Frank just killed the salon owner. Elsewhere, Hui Su is still at Bong Seok's place. Mi-hyun asks her son to take Hui Su upstairs and allow her to change from her drenching clothes. Hui Su apologizes for following him and being too curious about his secret. Bong Seok is understanding and forgiving. They talk about different things, such as Hui Su's training and what she's having trouble doing. She tells him that she thinks he is lucky that he can fly. Bong Seok reveals more about his secret, such as the weights he wears and carries around. He shows her his room, which is filled with cushions on the roof to protect him from hurting himself in his sleep. He admits he can't control his powers, but has been trying to balance his weight and emotions. These are the two things that greatly affect him. He adds that he has been having trouble since he met Hui Su. Our bold girl, Hui Su, straight up, asks him if he has feelings for her. Bong Seok tries to deny it, but as Hui Su gets closer, he ends up levitating again. Ah, he is so adorable. Hui Su is not surprised, but Mi-hyun, who can hear everything thanks to her abilities, is a bit worried. Hui Su promises to drop the subject and helps Bong Seok get back on his bed. Bong Seok is surprised that she seems cool with his strange ability. She admits that she believes all things can happen and that she is different too. However, Bong Seok fails to hear this. She promises to keep his secret and tells him that he is not weird, just different. She then tells him that he is special, and that is okay. Mi-hyun hears this and smiles to herself as she is touched by Hui Su's words to her son. Bong Seok is also happy to hear such assurance from his crush. This time, he has weights on his leg so he doesn't levitate, just smiles shyly. Soon, Hui Su leaves, and Mi-hyun asks Bong Seok to amp up his game and walk her to the stage. Bong Seok rushes after Hui Su, but she sends him back, saying he will slow her. Mi-hyun is frustrated when Bong-seok returns quickly. She tells him that it is obvious that Hui-soo likes him more than a friend. Bong-seok decides to get his raincoat and chase after Hui-soo. However, she has already covered a fair amount of distance already. He takes off the weights on his legs and starts flying towards her as he calls out her name. Hui-soo turns and is awed by the sight of him flying. She silently remarks that he is so cool, even though he is unable to control his flying and loses momentum once in a while. He finally reaches her and says he will see her off. Hui-soo is surprised but touched. Away from our young protagonist, Frank cleans himself at the salon before leaving. On his way out, he runs into Ju-won, who uses the opportunity to ask for directions to the phone shop. Frank helps him, and Ju-won gives him a coupon for his new chicken restaurant. Frank leaves, and Ju-won hurries to deliver his food. His customer turns out to be a piece of work. He demands that Ju-won returns with a credit card machine to receive his payment. Ju-won keeps his calm even as the customer continues to demean him. He promises to return the next day with the credit card machine and leaves the food. The next day, Bong-seok wakes up from his recurring dream. In the dream, he is flying above the skies, and there is a man calling him. This time, the man congratulates him and calls him Uri Bong-seok. This means our Bong-seok. Bong-seok quickly prepares for school and hurried sneaks out to avoid Mi-hyun. She still notices him and asks why he is going to school on a Saturday. Bong-seok lies that he is going for intense cramming sessions since he is now a senior. Mi-hyun simply nods, but she finds the fact that he took the time to style his hair unusually odd. She sets about her business and takes a few minutes to check for new information about accidents around the town. Bong-seok meets with Hui-soo at the school auditorium and watches her train. He pretends to read a book, but it is clear he is distracted. He later reminds Hui-soo of her promise to keep his secret. She agrees and reveals a secret of her own. She starts by telling him why she transferred to a new school. It turns out it is because she fought 17 bullies at her former school. She didn't get hurt, but the others involved were badly injured. Her dad ended up bankrupt after paying the medical bills and settlement to the victims. Initially, Bong-seok thinks she is joking, but she insists she is telling the truth. She reveals that she can never get hurt. The episode review: Hui-soo is an admirable character. She is strong and has a good head on her shoulders. It is probably why Mi-hyun liked her immediately and is happy she is Bong-seok's friend. Speaking of Bong-seok, isn't he so adorable every time he levitates when Hui-soo slightly flirts with him? Let's hope they will have a good ending. On the other hand, we have Frank. One can't help but wonder why he is killing these other people. He is being ordered, but there seems to be more at play than simply following orders. He is specifically triggered by how protective these people are of their kids. What happened to him, and how did he end up as an assassin